Following up on a tutorial I made earlier this year on how I created my thumbnails, I'm going to show you how I create my own video game logos. Or to be more specific, putting my name on a video game logo, turning from this to this. Now, a little bit of backstory first before moving forward. Obviously, I do watch some Square Eye Jack videos, and one of the cool things they did in their videos is having a logo of the game and replacing the wordings with just their own YouTube name. And I gotta say, I freaking love the idea, as it brings in more creativity to a video and demonstrates to the audience that they're willing to put in the work. I also noticed that Kingdom Hearts also did this technique too, and that is something I wanted to do as well. I tried it before a few years back under the name Cheese and Crackers, and while I absolutely enjoyed it, I ended up getting a lot of headaches and a few migraines here and there. Maybe it was because I overpushed myself to the breaking point or overloaded myself with so much work that it became overwhelming for me. I ended up stopping on creating video game logos at that time. That was until I learned a lot more experience in photoshopping, and now reviewing video games nowadays, creating a logo is now my favorite part in making a review. I wouldn't exactly call this a tutorial as every logo will be different, but think of it as a guide to how I prepare myself for making my video game logos. And I will be speaking a bit slowly this time around, allowing for the information to come through because it can get a bit complicated sometimes. For my guinea pig, I'll be using Crash Team Rumble, and yes, Crash Team Rumble review is confirmed whenever that gets released. For my photo editing software, I use Photoshop, but any will do as long as it has enough tools and resources that you're comfortable using. And just by looking at the logo, I can tell from my experience that this is going to be a walk in the park. So for starters, I bring up the Crash Team Rumble photo on Photoshop and create another new page, making sure it's transparent and big enough for me to work on. From the logo itself, it has a blue and orange rectangle shape at the top, so I'll use the shape editor to create two rectangle shapes. I will make sure that I copy the logo and paste it to my big canvas just to match everything together. I realized that the original rectangle shape has a bit of a rhombus angle, so I'll activate the skewer option for my rectangles and try to match it correctly. Keep in mind, it all doesn't have to be accurate as long as it's even at the end product. I'll also make sure that the color is almost or just identical to the real one. So I'll highlight the color I want, grab my bucket filter, and paint one of the rectangles to its appropriate color. So far, this is what we have, and you may notice the gap here in the middle. Don't worry about it, as we will cover it with the circle shape that goes in the middle of the rectangles. Looking at the circle in the logo, it almost has that yin-yang effect to it. So what we'll do is go to Google Images and download a PNG photo of a yin-yang. Then once that is done, I'll select bits of the circle and highlight it with the color that matches the logo. Blue is on one side, while the orange is on the other side. Again, trying to make sure the circle is the same size, and if we hide the original logo and put the two rectangles together, this is what we have, and so far so good. You can see that a base is starting to form, so let's keep the ball rolling. Next up is the Wumpa fruits that goes in the middle of the circle. Now again, I go to images to find a PNG photo, and after surfing around the internet, this is what I found. I know it's not similar to the actual Wumpa fruit in the logo, but I'm not trying to make it 100% perfect. All I'm trying to do is make sure the elements are there, and even if something does look off, I can always come back and fix it up. So what we'll do is select parts of the fruit and highlight it with its colors. Underneath the leaves, there's a shadow effect, and we'll do that one as well. Once again, selecting parts of the shadow and coloring it to create that effect. Now with the fruit itself, after highlighting the bottom with green, it was tough selecting the middle, as the select option will automatically latch on to whatever's near. So halfway into the fruit, I decided to use my magic wand, and what that'll do is select only the ones that I'm after, and I'll be able to continue my work from there. And when I felt like that's the best I could do, I grabbed my paintbrush and start painting the yellow parts of the Wumpa fruit. Don't panic if you just did what I did on the outer part of the fruit, as you can always use your rubber to remove bits and pieces you don't need. And after selecting and coloring the top of the fruit light red, we can copy the colored Wumpa fruit and paste it to our canvas. You may have noticed on the sides of the rectangles, there's these weird shapes next to them. I don't think I'll be able to find them on images, so let's do the next big thing. Select those shapes and only these shapes, making sure nothing is added, copy and paste them to the canvas, color them and match them to the appropriate size, and combine it with the Wumpa fruit and what we have worked on earlier. We should have something like this. We are just about near the home stretch, so the only thing we need to do now is add in some text. Now what I do is find the game's font online and download it to add it to my font selection. For this font, I'll be using Comics Cartoon. I'll type in my first name in the left side, and for me personally, I'll try to match it similar to the logos, same size and all. I'll also select the bold option on my words to make it stand out a bit more. And finally, I'll add in a drop shadow to once again match the word in the logo. Then I'll do the exact same thing with the right hand side as I put my last name and match everything accordingly to my first name. And I'll also do the same thing when I write the word rumble, making it look bigger and making the drop shadow bigger as well. And finally, once everything is done, I'll put it all together and this is our final product. Now yes, it does look pretty cartoony with no different color shades, but I like my cartoon style of creating logos. I grew up with Looney Tunes and The Simpsons, and I always liked how clean and colourful they looked, and while I may never reach the full potential of these great artists, I'm very happy with my style. And that's the whole point of this video. I've shown you a guide on how I tackle a video game logo, so maybe you can apply these methods to your own style and at the same time create your own unique flair on things. And just remember to take as much time as you need, do some research, and more importantly, have fun. But anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. I thank everyone so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. My name is Justin Hurst, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games.